As an avid YouTube watcher, I have never seen a sovereign citizen successful in their claims in either the courtroom or police stop, so why does the movement persist with a zero success rate? Most people who use that defense are not the most mentally stable, so a zero success rate doesn't really bother them. I think some of them just want to watch the world burn. They get off on pushing boundaries and pushing against any authority no matter how valid that authority may be, because they haven't used the right magic words. And the thing of it is, you can't even blame them for it necessarily. Read a bill from Congress sometime. Legal jargon is dense at the best of times, inscrutable at worst. I would posit the root of most sovcits is someone that lost badly in court or some facet of local government at some point or another and feels that it was because of some magic words. Read legal maneuvering, strategy, loophole, whatever you want to call it, and that's why he lost. So if he can just unlock the right magic legal words, he can do whatever he wants, because that's what the other guy did. I think it's a combination of mental illness, entitlement, poor cognitive abilities, and lack of critical thinking skills. The perfect Dunning-Kruger effect storm. Mental illness, it's always mental illness. That is why the sovcit approach changes so frequently, because the FODM approach can only exist for so long until it is thoroughly debunked. Remember when every one of them used to talk about having gold tassels on the US flag? Don't hear that anymore. Remember when they used to write in orange all caps their name or whatever? Don't hear that too much anymore. These things can only exist for so long because none of it works, so the next snake oil salesman comes along and says what you really have to do is, and usually it's buy my book or take my course. How often does someone try it twice? Upon deep investigation, I have come to believe that the sovcit movement is actually being funded by the companies that install car door windows. Some people got to church and have experienced no miracles. Some people say the earth is flat and yet continue to orbit the sun. It's a lifestyle and social club. It makes them feel special and have fellowship with other sovereign citizens. Because everyone thinks they are smarter than the person they are going to be arguing with, and they just don't think the people they saw lose the argument did a good enough job. It's basically ego. The civil rights movement had a zero success rate, until it didn't. The big difference is that the civil rights movement was a good thing, and sovereign citizens are morons. They view themselves as being just and right, and eventually, if they try enough, the world will see it and embrace their ideas. I've seen a few videos where it worked. This typically involved an officer getting a more urgent call or simply not wanting to go through the hassle of dealing with a belligerent subject. The first issue with a sovereign citizen is the idea isn't real. So if they believe it in the first place, they are already misinformed. Trying it in real life is just a continuation of that. The kind of people who are attempting to employ sovereign citizen logic to their problems aren't exactly known for their methodical adherence to the scientific method when it comes to evaluating life strategies. These men are living in a daydream where they think they are being noble and are some sort of heroes. It's a self-validation thing for insecure men. I've definitely seen it work. It's usually something like extremely minor offensive and obvious headache of a person vs an eye roll and someone with something better to do. Fine, get out of here, is the vibe of every winning interaction. They're a dumb fuck police officer in AZ that let a sovereign win and let him go without any citations. Sounds more like the officer believed the driver, but even if then the officer could have not wanted to deal him. Either way, the driver deserved the least of citation for no license, no insurance, no tags. I'm honestly surprised some MAGA judge hasn't agreed with one of them and set new wacky precedent. A lot of them are driven by a belief that the legal system should not exist at all, so they use their hearings and trials to delay as much as possible. They file tons of frivolous paperwork to try to get admins to waste time dealing with them. This causes court systems to get backed up and work worse for everybody involved, which I guess achieves some sort of goal of theirs. I remember a pic of one sovcit proudly showing that he got his charges dismissed. It was one of those driving without a license, car without registration ones where the dude kept filing motion after motion to postpone his court date. He didn't have a job. His car was impounded, and the judge finally ruled that, considering the court costs, they would dismiss the charges because they would never get any money from the dude and it wasn't worth it. But all the sovcit saw was that the charges were dismissed.